Hello and welcome to Nationwide on a network service of the NTA. I am Elizabeth Omori. We begin with regional trade. Nigeria is moving towards being one of the biggest economies in the world, and increased collaborations with economic giants like Egypt is a boost to the journey towards economic greatness. Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment, Miriam Katagum, disclosed this in Cairo, Egypt, at the opening of Nigeria-Egypt Trade Conference. Benny Adams reports that the volume of trade between Nigeria and Egypt is less than $200 million.
Conversations here have continued to evolve. It's actually convergence of business ideas from Africa's two largest economies, Nigeria on one hand and Egypt on the other side. And the catch is basically to showcase products and services through business-to-business interactions for exchange of ideas, and also serves as a platform for participants to explore opportunities, learn about the industrial environment, latest technologies in Egypt, as well as the opportunities that are available in Nigeria.
We have almost 5 or 6 fintech unicorns in Africa. Nigeria has some unique competitive advantage that offers any investor opportunity to succeed.
There are a lot of companies that we are going to kickstart, like a live signing, a live into the keen into a business in Nigeria with some Egyptian company tomorrow, inshallah.
Egypt is putting our proposal on a new nexus between climate change, water, food, and security, and we're going to have a discussion on that aspect.
So I think the potentials are there, and the possibility of Nigeria bringing in palm oil in large quantity has not been made easy by the establishment of the Export Trade House.
From the venue of Nigeria-Egypt Trade Conference and business meetings, I am Benny Adams.
And from Cairo, we take you to the United Arab Emirates, where the 42nd edition of the Gulf Information Technology Exhibition, GITEX Global, has opened at the Dubai World Trade Center. ICT correspondent Chimdima Undibisi reports that more than 5,000 organizations, 90 countries, including Nigeria, are participating. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, is leading Nigeria's delegation, where 4 out of Nigeria's 33 startups on exhibition have reached semi-final stage of the competition. By December this year, world leaders will converge in Canada to ratify the post-2020 Biodiversity Framework. It will be at the gathering of parties to the United Nations Convention on Biodiversity. ECOWAS Commission is therefore building capacity for negotiators to pursue the interest of the West African sub-region at the upcoming 15th Conference of the Parties in Montreal, Canada.
We have a common concern. It's very important for us to have a common point of view so that we can bring this common point of view to the African group of negotiators.
One of these initiatives that we have been working with very closely and actually led by Nigeria and co-chaired by Zimbabwe is a Pan-African Conservation Trust, which is one solution proposed by the protected and conserved areas across the continent to mobilize financing.
It is what I like to call the grand plan that will be deployed over the next, now we can say 8 years because we are in 2022, and intended to set the world on track to accomplish the ideal of living in harmony with nature by 2050.
Stakeholders in the region are expected to also come up with solutions to regional climate change crisis. Away from climate matters, the 2023 appropriations bill of 20.51 trillion naira already presented by President Muhammad Buhari to the National Assembly has been described as realistic, with benchmarks and key assumptions that align with global economic trends. Economic experts on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, however, urged government to deal with economic sabotage such as crude oil theft and make adjustments in recurrent expenditure. Joseph Watson reports.
The appropriation bill for the 2023 fiscal year is projected to maintain fiscal viability and address a wide range of socio-economic concerns. Experts note that the key assumptions of $70 per barrel, 1.69 million barrel per day production, and GDP growth rate of 3.75% are not far from economic realities.
Unlike oil price, where we have no control at all, that of production, to a large extent, we have control. Once we know the OPEC quota, okay, we should be able to meet that OPEC quota. Reining in, for example, issues like oil theft.
The experts, however, want government to exercise cautious optimism with increasing inflation and growing expenditure for debt services.
Interest rates are rising on debt, and so the cost of servicing becomes much more, which means then that even on the present debt stock, the cost of servicing next year will be much higher.
If you look at the inflation, what is driving it is food, the truck basket index, and with this flood scale of the flood we are having, the flood will go away, but the food that have been destroyed will not go away. So we may have to struggle.
We have not seen an assumption or a target that the government puts for itself in terms of what we call value for money accounting to block the leakages.
There is advocacy for government to slash recurrent expenditure and overheads, especially cost of governance. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
And in other news, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemieso, wants ministries, departments and agencies to speed up the digitization process to increase efficiency and make records retrieval easy for evidence-based policy decisions. Haman Jabani reports.
Present administration's resolve to rebuild and reform the service, innovation is one of the key areas of the Federal Civil Service Strategic and Implementation Plan 2021-2025. FCCIP25 is being used to achieve that. The Head of Service Office organized a training program for staff of service innovation divisions and departments across some selected MDAs aimed at keeping them up to speed on the digitalization process. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemieso, who was represented, said the strategic role of innovation in the new civil service. Civil servants must leverage more on technology in making informed decisions on how to be hired, trained and retrained, monitoring performance and delivering service effectively and efficiently, which will reduce inequality and rebuild trust in government businesses.
Our success may be modest in relation to the size of the challenges. We are constantly learning and reviewing our strategies. I have no doubt that the FCIP's 2021 to 2025 successful plan will build on these achievements.
The civil service is the engine room for the formulation and implementation of government policies and programs and projects, as well as performance management system. To take effect fully in 2023, stakeholders agree that it needs to be re-engined, reinvigorated and repositioned for greater service delivery and not to be left out in the global digital revolution. The key players believe that digitalization will improve most used services so that they will be easy to find, access and complete, making it quicker and easier for people to access the services and information they need. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
Away from digitization, Kogi State House of Assembly has been ravaged by fire. Ajibola Christopher reports that the cause of the fire, which engulfed the hallowed chamber at 8 o'clock Monday morning, is yet to be ascertained.
As at the time of filing this report, the inferno had been brought under control. The Speaker of the House, Matthew Kolawole, while speaking with journalists at the Assembly complex, said that The House will allow security agencies to investigate the incident. However, he stated that this will not stop the Assembly from performing its duty.
They called from my chief detail this morning that the around 8 o'clock that the House of Assembly is on fire. And so I quickly called the security agencies who mobilized here. And we got here, we saw what happened. So we can't say exactly when it started.
Meanwhile, Dangote Fire Service assisted in putting out the fire at the Assembly complex. From Kogi State House of Assembly, Ajibola Christopher, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on NTA. Let's head to Lagos, where Hingano is standing by with some reports.
Considering the economic importance of Apapa ports to the realization of President Buhari administration's agenda on diversification of the nation's economy, rehabilitation of Apapa road to serve as a true conveyor of goods and services is a national imperative. In this report, Ruth Aria Samuel takes a look at efforts by the federal government to rehabilitate the road by adopting concrete technology for effective service delivery.
And Liverpool roads all link the Apapa Wharf, the nation's economic hub. The road, built in 1975, witnessed little or no rehabilitation after its construction, while it failed along different sections with only trailers and trucks cluttering every available space on the arterial route. The situation normally became tough for motorists to ply during the rainy season. While the nightmare lasted, businesses suffered and some closed shops. However, the story has changed, not just because the federal government has finally intervened, but because the usual bituminous template for road rehabilitation has been jettisoned in favor of the use of concrete pavement in reconstructing the Apapa road.
The areas that are waterlogged, it's better we use a concrete pavement and it makes it longer. And in the maintenance aspect of it, it is easier because we have almost all the materials here. We have the rocks here. We manufacture cement here in the country locally.
Most of the pavement, they are going for the concrete pavement, which will afford us because it carries much more load. You know, when you the same load on the concrete pavement and the road pavement, the flexible pavement, it will tend to crack faster on the flexible pavements. The concrete pavement can sustain much more load.
For the distraught residents, motorists and businesses along the Apapa ports, relief has finally come as they now experience a new lease to life through the introduction of concrete pavement by the contractor in the project.
This pattern is one of the best, I should tell you, because if we have to go back when they were using Korota and the rest of them, with the heavy weight of this Apapa port, it won't last.
Now the traffic is down. They don't go after they don't go to this road. They reduce the traffic. I take to this road. They do it through this concrete.
With the determination of President Buhari's administration to strengthen critical infrastructure across the country, adoption of concrete technology in road rehabilitation will not only reduce the high cost of road construction by government, but will to a large extent offer lasting solutions to perennial road construction. In Lagos, Ruth Ariel Samuel, NTA News.
Heroes and heroines are words and opposite according to English language, but in their essence, they basically mean the same thing. In this report, Amaka takes a look at how much Nigeria is putting into recognizing her heroines in the light of their contributions to national development.
One of the lines from the national anthem reads, "The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain." True to these lines, a grateful nation acknowledges the contributions of heroes of independence by embarking on periodic ritual of immortalizing their names. While the heroes get due acknowledgement from time to time, the heroines are not left out, as national celebrations such as the independence anniversary provides platforms to examine the far-reaching impact of their own contributions.
History should be checked again, and most of these things that women actually did to bring this country to where it is today should be taught in schools. That let children know more about it. Let people that are growing up grow to love female heroes in our country.
I think women as a whole and in general need to be celebrated more. I strongly believe that, and even a good friend of mine, a close friend of mine, is Dr. Adadebo. You know, we need more recognition for our women heroines in Nigeria, because there's a lot that women do, both in front and behind the scenes, and that recognition needs to be made.
I want to see a woman featured on one of our currency notes. That's the least we can do, not to mention naming more airports, and they need to be celebrated. It's totally unacceptable that the women are still marginalized and maligned. It's absolutely unacceptable, but the women themselves need to demand for this.
Considering how much these heroines, including the likes of Margaret Ekpo and Olufunmilayo Ransome Kuti, put into mobilizing the grassroots against the excesses of the then colonial government, how well is the current generation of women doing in this regard?
Women are human beings, and God has endowed them with so much talent, and so they need to be confident of themselves, just as the men, and develop those attributes that God has given to them.
Over the last 50 years, the population of women grew from 29 million to over 100 million. This implies that more female contributions are expected to meet the development needs of the nation. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
That's it from the Center of Excellence nationwide. We'll return with Mohammed in Maiduguri after this break. But before then, do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates.
Welcome to Maiduguri on Nationwide. Improving welfare of officers and men of the Nigerian police force will continue to receive topmost priority for personnel to discharge their duties diligently. Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba disclosed this while inaugurating and inspecting some ongoing projects in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, executed by the Nigerian Police Force. Evan Subukar reports.
The visit to Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, by the Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba was in continuation of its inspection of projects across the country being executed by the Nigerian Police. Police College Maiduguri, according to the IGP, was among the 4 premier colleges in the country, hence the construction and rehabilitation work to improve the working condition of staff and trainees, as well as assured allowances for teaching staff. Borno State Governor, represented by Commissioner for Intergovernmental Affairs, Pogulon, while commending efforts of the Nigerian police in reducing crime rate in the state, reiterated government's readiness to partner the police in ensuring a crime-free society. Inspecting parade by the over 10,000 recruits at the college, the IGP urged personnel deployed to Borno not to consider their posting as a punishment. While inaugurating the police veterinary hospital at Mounted Troops headquarters, Usman Alkali Baba cautioned politicians to ensure all campaign rallies are made known to the police in order to control political processions.
There is still room for improvement, and we will continue to do more so that people of the world will save their tourist clothes and at the same time go about their local businesses.
The IGP also inspected guard of honor by the Mounted Troop and other completed projects within the edifice. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
As the world marks this year's Eid-el-Maulud, a grand festival was held to celebrate the birth of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, at the Sheikh Sharif Ibrahim Saleh Al-Hussein Mosque in Maiduguri. The religious gathering was attended by Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, as well as prominent personalities from across the nation and neighboring countries in the Lake Chad Basin. Umaru Kirawa reports.
The Islamic month Rabiul Awal is one important, blessed and dear to the Muslim community across the globe, a period attested to the birth of the final messenger of Allah, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. As usual, the celebration of the birth of the Prophet in Borno sees to the convergence of large number of people from across Nigeria and neighboring countries in the lectured region, with rich and poor, king and pauper, among others in attendance to praise Allah and his goodwill messages, as well as reflect the virtues of Prophet Muhammad.
The Prophet Muhammad, Allah sent him to him as a mercy to the whole humankind.
We used to celebrate the birth of our Prophet Muhammad and Alhamdulillah, we are doing it successfully. He is the one who brought Islam to us.
Representative of the Mufti of Nigeria, Sheikh Sharif Ibrahim Saleh Al Hussein, Imam Abba Saleh Sheikh Ibrahim Saleh said, the day is significant to all mankind as the Prophet was sent as a mercy to all. The honored Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum as Sheikh Zakir for his relentless efforts in the cause of humanity. The governor, Sheikh Zakir Professor Zulum, thanked the people for their resilience and enjoined them to intensify prayers for more peace in the land. The governor assured to provide employment opportunities to the people, power the mosque and its vicinity with solar street lights, and realize road leading to the area among other infrastructural interventions. Special prayer sessions were also offered for the sustainability of peace, stability and development across the globe, in addition to free medical outreach held as part of the celebration. In Maiduguri, Umari Kirawa, NTA News.
That's all on Nationwide from Maiduguri. The rest of the program will continue with Elizabeth in Abuja.
Thank you, Mohammed. And we're not done with Eid-el-Maulud. Reports 12th of Rabiul Awal in the Islamic lunar calendar remains a global turning point, especially in the lives of Muslims, as it commemorates the birth of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, known as Eid-el-Maulud. Abdullah Ajia reports that this day usually heralds different modes of worship activated by spiritual moments.
Quranic verses suffice to mention and explain the reverence on Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. His birth, life and times, Islamic scholars and historians have described as a gift to mankind, with his prophetic message and teachings revolutionizing the world.
The birthday of Prophet Muhammad Sallama is very, very important for us to do it. Allah honor him. Allah respect him. A good Muslim supposed to love Prophet Muhammad Sallama. Even you are not a Muslim, because a wonderful human being like this, you supposed to respect him, honor him.
The celebration of Eid-el-Maulud annually in the Muslim world is very famous, a period adherents look forward to with different tones and modes of worship to commemorate. Hilkatu Zikrullah and Ahbab, like many other Islamic organizations, marks the day with convergence for worship led by their spiritual leader, Sheikh Abubakar Sadiq Shuaibu. This year's celebration was marked with vigil of praises, invocations, sermons, and salutations to the noble Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Messages of peace took the center stage.
To pray for Nigeria, I'll use this avenue to talk to people so that we can come together and unite together. And we need peace to reign in Nigeria. You know, if there's no peace, there's no stability.
To unite not only Islam, anything that has to do with religion, and people to understand what humanity is all about.
Worshippers who were visibly happy said the atmosphere provided them spiritual satisfaction.
Celebrating Maulud is like a life to me.
I feel happy anytime I participate in celebration of our most beloved.
Worshippers and indeed mankind are urged to emulate the virtues and sterling qualities of the seal of prophets, whose teachings scholars maintain are shining example to the world. In Abuja, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
And for the first time after 3 years of the COVID-19 experience, the people of Gumel Emirates in Jigawa State held the Eid-el-Maulud festival, which, with special prayers observed for a peaceful 2023 elections. The event, marked with fanfare, had in attendance the state governor and guests across the country. Ibrahim Belagunda tells us more.
The annual festival dates back to centuries, being observed by the people of some emirates in Jigawa, Daura and the Republic of Niger to mark the birthday of Holy Prophet Muhammad, known as Maulud. Like every year, the celebration commenced with rally by Islamia schools in Gumel and neighboring local government areas, as well as special prayers for the nation. The Emir of Gumel, Ahmed Muhammad Thani, called on the people of the Emirate to ensure proper moral upbringing of their wards for them to be good members of the society.
We pray for peaceful elections and good leaders in the whole of the country.
We don't disagree in persons. That's all about it. And our followers and supporters should know that they too are brothers and sisters. And the election will be over, Nigeria will continue.
It was indeed a festival to behold, as indigenes of Gumel Emirate from across the globe used the period to conduct family meetings and fraternal visits. From Gumel, Ibrahim Bello, NTA News.
Away from the celebration, Cross River National Park, one of the highly endowed natural tourist spots in the country, is being threatened by illegal loggers who exploit the forest timber. Erica Ivy reports that one of the suspected illegal timber dealers, Ogunrede Olainka, has been arrested by forest rangers.
The Cross River National Park, with an area of 4,000 square kilometers, comprises of Oban and Akwangu Division, is currently threatened by illegal loggers who damages the endangered species and jeopardizes the forest reserve through illegal logging.
No, I don't cut. I buy from the people that cut. They say they are indigenous that I just come here to buy. I don't know.
The conservator of Park Cross River National Park, Akampa, CP Zana Lawan, expressed displeasure over the activities of illegal loggers destroying the ecosystem in the area.
He brought in a bulldozer to create road so that they can evacuate logs out of the park. And by so doing, they have destroyed the ecosystem, they killed so many microorganisms, and by extension, they have created temporary ecological breakdown.
In fulfillment of its mandate to protect the forest reserve, CP Lawan is calling on collective effort by host communities and government to restrain the activities of loggers, especially in the area of dishing out useful information to the officials of the Cross River National Park Service.
There is the need for all stakeholders to come together to see that we protect the resources of Cross River National Park.
The suspect, Ogunrede Olainka, has been handed over to the Akampa Division of the Nigerian Police for further investigation. In Calabar, Erika Ivy, NTA News.
To promote effective participation in governance, President Muhammad Buhari has directed the commencement of registration and issuance of identity cards to senior citizens for social inclusion and geriatric services. This was disclosed by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development at the 2022 National Day of Older Persons.
In 2019, statistics by the World Health Organization puts the number of people who are 60 years of age and above at 1 billion. This data indicates that the population of the elderly will increase to 1.4 billion by 2030 and 2.1 billion by 2050.
Each time you go to hospital, they tell you that the medicines that you require, that you need for your ailments are out of stock.
They should have home for the elderly because events are now changing.
Critical actors in the aging agenda at this forum are determined to make way beneficial.
From resilience to empowerment. That's a statement we are making.
because that resilience is not bouncing back. There was nothing to bounce back to. Now is empowerment of all the people that are older persons being empowered like other population group can, as others are bouncing back, now say we are more resilient. We too can withstand these things. Why? Because we have been mainstreamed into social safety nets.
Panelists hinged discussions on mainstreaming of integrated care, digital equity and effective inclusion, social interventions, as well as communal support systems.
The social investment program has 4 elements, all of them overlapping interests of the community. The first is actually discondition cash transfer.
The ingenuity of the aging population was also on display at the event.
Now, can a mother sniff life out of her offspring? The story of a 37-year-old grandmother, Mrs. Chinelo Udugu, who sniffed life out of a 3-year-old granddaughter, Ifechukwu Udoju, in a community in Nibo, and disposed the corpse in Oka, is not fiction. Udo Okoronkwo Chukwu reports that the suspect has been apprehended by the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP.
The state commander, Mr. Judy Chukwu Ibadan, said the command had been earlier tipped off by teachers of the school, where the suspect, Mr. Chinelo Udog, had enrolled the victim, little Miss Ifechukwu Udog, about the fresh and constant bruises and other signs of abuse on the child's body.
We received a complaint that they found marks on her body, bruises on her body. So my officers went that day. It happened that the girl has come back. So we, together with the teachers, we asked them to be on the lookout whenever this woman will come again. In fact, we went to the neighborhood to see if we can get the woman. We searched around, but she didn't leave the address in the school.
On Wednesday, 5th October, the suspect was said to have gone to the school to retrieve the school fees paid for the victim. When the teachers questioned her on the whereabouts of the little girl, she told them that the girl had died. The school authority immediately alerted NAPTIP. Sadly, the suspect led the officials to the bush within the Hezekiah Dig at Oka, where the decomposing body of the victim was retrieved.
And she claimed that the victim died on Thursday, last week Thursday. True to her words, the body has started decomposing. So I now alerted the Commissioner of Police that this is what I found out in my investigation of a crime of this nature. It has metamorphosed into a homicide case.
A telephone conversation, the Anambra State PPRO Tochukwu Ikenga speaks on the matter.
The lesson to draw from this incident is that we should be very, very conscious whenever we are angry. The woman in question is in our custody now, and the investigation is still ongoing for us to, at the end of the investigation, the matter will be charged to court.
The victim was born by the suspect's 18-year-old daughter, whose whereabouts is unknown. NTA News will update the public with further developments. In Oka, Udo Okoronkwo Chukwu, NTA News.
Of course, NTA will sure follow that story up. For more reports on Nationwide, let's join Ogochukwuka in Benin. Hello, Ogochukwuka.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Happy holiday. And as the world marks Mental Health Day, experts are advocating a society and family where women will be given the place of pride in order to check their mental health. This was while examining women's mental health and risk factor. Toyin Batire reports from Akure.
The importance of women in the family and society at large cannot be overemphasized. Research shows that most women place priority on their husbands and children at the detriment of themselves and mental health. Mental disorders such as anxiety, depression, and bipolar are more common in women than men. Life events and hormonal changes can also affect women's mental health.
They allow cares, they allow worries, they allow fears to dominate their mind. Inability to be able to cope somehow begins to affect her mentally, but she cannot talk.
Medical experts say social and economic factors put women at greater risk of mental health, hence they should be made happy in their families and society.
The husband must be friend. Husbands must be friends to wife, not an authority figure that is not willing to contribute in terms of supporting the wife in the running of the house.
Religion plays a very major role in ensuring proper treatment of psychiatric illness because it is religion that gives hope to people. And so, if all these three, when they are interwoven, then you get good results with management of mental illness.
More respondents noted that women are channels to the socio-economic development of the society. Therefore, they should have high standard of living and maintain healthy mental health. In Nakure, Tony Batire, NTA News.
Still on health, heads of medical institutions in Nigeria want the federal government to replace health workers who have left the country for greener pastures and improve the working condition in order to strengthen the healthcare sector in the country. They made a call during a meeting in Asaba. Tessie Coker has the details.
The exodus of Nigerian doctors abroad has continued to be a source of worry to healthcare delivery in the country, as they believe that quick intervention and immediate replacement will reduce the challenges faced by the health workers. They expressed concern over the myriad of challenges bedeviling the health sector.
We've been doing our best to provide quality healthcare to our citizens, and most of our colleagues here have tried in many ways to source for funding outside the typical capital funds. We've seen many interventions.
We believe the government is already on top of the matter. Like the brain drain, we are saying that the process of replacing those who have left should be seamless.
The medical doctors commended the federal government for putting in place high-standard facilities at the Federal Medical Center Asaba to tackle special medical referrals, and paid a courtesy visit to their colleague, Governor Kowa, and the Asagbar of Asaba, Professor Chike Edozie.
I hope that we're going to start as a nation to pay more attention to the health of our people, to our health institutions, and also to the workforce in our health institutions.
In Asaba, Tessie Coker, NTA News.
The next set of reports will be coming from Makudi, and Fatima is standing by, but this will be after the break.
And a warm welcome to Makudi. As Muslims in Makudi, the Benue state capital, joined their counterparts to celebrate Eid-el-Maulud, which is the birth of Prophet Muhammad. Islamic clerics have called for peace and unity as the country enters another electionary period. Elias Itiab reports.
Muslims in their numbers came out in a procession around the streets of Makudi, the Benue state capital, to commemorate the Eid-el-Maulud, which is the birth of Prophet Muhammad. Some Islamic scholars and leaders urge Muslims to use this day to show love to one another, as they harped on the need for peaceful coexistence among Nigerians, irrespective of religion or ethnicity.
There's a month of the Prophet Muhammad was born, and at the same time, if a Muslim call himself as a Muslim, must love the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's why we are celebrating.
Others called for prayers towards peaceful elections come 2023.
To render prayers for our countries and our state.
For some clerics, they have a role to play as they appeal to all Muslims to ensure that they collect permanent voter cards to enable them participate in elections.
To bring our nation, that coming 23 election, God to give us the good leaders in our country.
They are of the prayers that the relative peace being enjoyed in the state be sustained even beyond the Eid-el-Maulud celebrations. In Makudi, Elias Itiav, NTA News.
On health matters, more than 2 million children in Benue State have benefited from the just concluded novel oral polio vaccination. Health educator of the State Primary Health Care Board, Emmanuel Baker, who disclosed this, ranked the figure as the highest since the commencement of the exercise aimed at ensuring zero cases in Benue State. Sandra Akeme reports.
The vaccination exercise, which targeted children between the ages of 0 to 59 months, is aimed at boosting their immunity against circulating variant-derived poliovirus type 2 in the environment and make them resist any such infection. A visit to the state cold chain facility and other designated areas for the polio vaccination indicate that the exercise was an overwhelming success as the doses received were exhausted.
The quantity was just 2,273,000 doses for Benue State for the first round. We distributed these vaccines to all 23 local governments.
The vibes they gave us was 50 doses. The turnout was very okay.
Health educator, Benue State Primary Healthcare Board, Emmanuel Baker, said the coverage of the oral polio vaccination across the 277 wards of the state has recorded success, though there are challenges that need to be addressed in subsequent exercises.
As much as we are saying the entire population is free, the mutated variant is circulating and is causing infection. On the side of implementation, we expect to be funded adequately. We expect to have enough human resource to carry out the activity.
He, however, appreciated the federal and state governments for demonstrating commitments towards achieving 100% coverage in the outbreak response campaign. The exercise signals the commencement of several rounds of response activities against variant polio virus. In Makudi, Sandra Akeme, NTA News.
Away from health matters, Benue State Governor Samuel Otom has taken further steps to ensure that the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Dr. Yochia Ayu, resigns the position in order to retain his integrity and douse the tension in the party. The governor restated this when he presented the case to elder statesmen in Boko, the administrative headquarters of the Tea Nation, seeking their intervention in the matter. Charles Abba has details.
The Jengba Elders Forum is the administrative body of Boko, Taka and Buruku local government areas where the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Dr. Yochia Ayu, hailed from. Governor Samuel Otom, who sought redress of alleged blackmail of his personality and betrayal of the Tiv people by Dr. Ayu, vowed never to surrender his people to insurrection on the platter of political or personal gains, added that he would not succumb to intimidation and blackmail regarding his senatorial ambition. He said the rift between him and the national chairman is informed by his insistence that the right thing be done, which he averred that Dr. Ayu has taken with a pinch of salt. The governor maintained that Dr. Ayu had publicly submitted that he would resign if a presidential candidate of the party emerged from the north, which he said has materialized, and therefore placed the onus on him to resign accordingly. Governor Tom indicated that Dr. Ayu played to the gallery against the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, who was instrumental in his emergence as national chairman of PDP during the party's convention. In Chibland, if you offend someone, seek forgiveness and peace will come. Ayu is my kinsman. I advised him to apologize to those he has offended. He therefore appealed to Jengba elders to invite Ayu so that both of them would narrate their grievances to ensure that peace prevails in the party and in the Jengba extraction of the Tiv nation. Chairman of the forum, Sam Sumba, agreed that Dr. Ayu would be summoned to a meeting of Minda and Jengba Elders Forum to ensure that both the governor and Ayu would put the record straight on the matter to give room for reconciliation. From Boko, Charles Abba, NTA News.
And that it from Makudi Nationwide continues with Elizabeth in Abuja. Thank you so much, Fatima. Still in politics, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, says a vote for the PDP will guarantee better security and socio-economic development of the country. He made the promise at the flag-off of the party's presidential campaign in Oyo, Akwa Ibom State. Chairman of the PDP Presidential Campaign Committee and Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Udom Emmanuel, the Director General of the Campaign Council and Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambwal, expressed confidence in the party's ability to rescue and rebuild Nigeria. The PDP presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, was also presented a flag signifying the kickoff of the party's presidential campaign.
We rescue Nigeria from hunger. We rescue Nigeria from poverty. We want also to bring back the unity that we require in this country. There's a great problem in the land, and we are looking for a rescuer. The campaign to restore Nigeria, revitalize the veins of our growth and prosperity, even the thoughts of our unity that have been fractured, restore hope.
Meanwhile, the youth wing of the All Progressives Congress APC Niger State is mobilizing for the success of the party's presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu and that of the governorship Umar Bago. This was demonstrated at a sensitization rally held to inaugurate the state executive members of the APC governorship candidate campaign team in Mina. Fatima Usman reports.
The campaign team is part of efforts to mobilize votes for the APC candidates in the state and at national level to ensure victory of the party at the 2023 political outing. They urged members of the campaign team to go around the state propagating the party's message of transformation and continuity in governance. The party's loyalists pointed out that the current APC-led administration at both the state and national levels have recorded tremendous achievements in all sectors of the economy, hence the need to work for its continuity.
It's time for the youth to do the needful to make sure that we deliver Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Umar Mohammed Bago.
As a team, we will work tirelessly in every local government.
The newly inaugurated group tagged Bago Mini Gubernatorial Campaign Team had 13 administrative council with Umar Adamu Erena as Director General, while House leaders drawn from the 25 local government councils of the state are to serve as coordinators of their various local government areas. In Mina, Fatima Usman, NTA News.
Next is sports updates.
Ahead of the opening game against Germany on Tuesday at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in India, the Flamingos were on Monday officially welcomed by host and official to India for the competition. Nigeria will open its campaign against Germany before taking on New Zealand and Chile in their group stage. Still on football, West Bromwich Albion has parted company with manager Steve Bruce after 8 months in charge. The 61-year-old former Manchester United defender left following the Boogie's home draw with Luton Town on Saturday, a situation which leaves the club in the Championship relegation zone, their lowest league position in over 20 years. The club's under-21 coach Richard Bailey has now been named interim boss. And to cycling, 4 Team Nigerian female cyclists have departed Nigeria to join 4 other African countries of South Africa, Morocco, Egypt and Algeria in the 2022 World Track Cycling Championship scheduled to commence from 12 to 16 October in Paris. Speaking shortly before they departed, President of the Federation, Gandhi Maniko Matari, and some of the cyclists expressed readiness to do the country proud as they look to qualify for the next Olympics.
We're going there to prepare for Olympics and to improve more in our timing to Paris, to do our best to make our Nigerian flag to just fly at the Paris.
It's a long journey, it's a lot of work that has to be done, but we are there, and this is a good for the federation, for the cyclists, and it's for Nigeria large, because they know Nigeria will be seen in a different way.
And finally, after dethroning the former champion at UFC 278, Leo Edwards Edwards have revealed that a trilogy fight against Kamaru Usman will take place in March of next year. Edwards completed one of the greatest comebacks in MMA history by knocking out the former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman with less than a minute remaining in the fight. The defeat by Edwards was Kamaru's first knockout since beginning his MMA career in 2012. With Sports Update, Oche Mbidi, NTA News.
In Sports Update ends nationwide today. Thank you so much for watching. Do remember to always take action against rape and rapists. Enjoy the holiday.